Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you for coming. Nice to see you all. And let's get started. So let's just settle into our, meditation, nice, comfortable seated position, suitable for meditation. That's you're going to be comfortable for half an hour. So your feet flatten the floor if you are sitting at your desk in the regular. But if you're in the regular meditation posture, of course, your legs are up and you're cross-legged. Take a nice deep breath and really try and feel the soles of the feet, the heels, and the big toe mound, the little toe mound, the outside of the soles of the feet. And you can maybe just even press your toes against your shoes or your slippers or the carpet or the floor, whatever you're on. Just get a sense of the weight of the legs in your feet. And just be sitting right on top of your sits bones. So try not to be behind, leaning on your sacrum. Try and be sort of straight up. Shoulders are aligned with the hips. And imagine your spine as a string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. Just relax the shoulders. Bring some space in between those vertebrae. Just allow yourself to expand this nicely aligned body. So bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the mouth, the back of the head, back of the neck, the jaw, the temples. Allow your shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat, the chest, and the belly, and all of your limbs. Notice if there's sounds in your environment. Just allow those sounds to be there. Trying not to follow them with the mind. And notice the thoughts that are arising. So you might notice the thoughts that are arising this evening may be different. Could be according to even something you watched last night, something you've read today, yesterday, something you've thought about, an interaction you may have had. So these thoughts might be arising in the mind. So just allow them, try not to judge or follow the story. Just notice what's there. Notice what it is your mind chooses to focus on. What kind of habit, neural pathways do you have? And try and identify them. So these neural pathways that we have are going to atrophy if we don't use them, just like our muscles. So this works quite well if you've got a lot of negativity arising. If you don't follow those thoughts, don't give them too much energy. But this can take discipline and time and compassion with ourselves. So bring to mind all the people of your life, all your loved ones, your dear, dear friends, the ones you find a little bit more difficult, and the strangers, and just imagine, remember, they can change place at any time. Perhaps that has happened to you in your life. And I think they're all equal in their wish to be happy, their wish to be free from suffering and having this extraordinary capacity for Buddhahood. So remembering there is no negativity that cannot be purified. This purification process is a psychological one. We create positivity with our mind so we can equally change that. So we create negativity with our mind so we can equally change that by creating positivity instead. So we start with the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of your past lives. And think of specific actions of both your body and your speech. And then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma. And we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. And so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of the future suffering that we ourselves are going to experience it, because we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. And so logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this: I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret any anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think again, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance, and we turn to the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, who has the methods that we can use to purify. So we're not needing the Buddha to forgive us. So here we have our Vajrasattva. So just imagine this is the Buddha, but you don't have to do all this detail. Just put this Buddha on the crown of your head, facing the same way as you. It's not some kind of God that's going to forgive us or, forgive our sins, so to speak. We are going to be doing the work using his methods. So imagine this light body, this enlightened being above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. So he's made, as I said, blissful, radiant white light, sitting in a cross-legged position. His face is this beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion. And their being crossed represents a union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, the very beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us, by developing compassion for them. So that compassion is a wish for someone to be free from suffering. So think particularly of someone you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings you have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then think about those who have harmed you, and just we have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result as suffering for them in the future. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these sentient beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. So now we come to the power of the remedy, and this is the medicine, doing the practice of purification. And we start with the body, and imagine Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you have ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is completely purified, and think there's no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. And the next is the purification of your speech. And Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech, and this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So just imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about other people behind their backs, getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatta Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified. And imagine it's not possible to do anything but benefit others with your speech. And this includes yourself, because you'll hear every word you say. And next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately now sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra. And this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So the same as when you walk into a pitch black room and you flick on that light switch, instantly dispels the darkness, that light. So same here. Just imagine light coming from Vajrasattva's heart, hits your heart chakra, and then all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and depression and neediness and anger and bitterness and resentment and jealousy and grudges, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as we recite the mantra. Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasedi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Sitokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Vajrasapa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasapa Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawa Siddhi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. Imagine they're just gone, and think now there's no space in your heart for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. So next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily again sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your mind as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sita Me Sitam Shriyam Kuruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sata A Hum Pe Om Vajrasappa Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasappa Dina Patita Dita Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hom pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita. Dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me. Sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. Vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa Anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe vajrasappa samaya manupalaya vajrasappa dina patita dida meboa situkaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawa sidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam kuruhum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawa tata gata vajramami mutsa vajrabawa mahasamaya sata a hum pe. So now, Phil, you are completely purified, and just imagine there's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. So let's just meditate on that for a minute. Imagine that, really want that, really wish for that. Now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And a really important one, because we have to make a decision if we don't want to harm again. We need to want to not harm. So we just have to decide, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to work on, and we'll do it. So we don't get on a plane and fly somewhere without some level of planning. So we need to sort of form a plan. So first of all, we'll decide, well, I would, as I've been asking you to do, just rejoice in your own efforts and coming along here night after night for almost 3 years, some of you. Everyone seems to be coming really consistently. So this is how you start to move your own practice forward, how you start to make changes in your own life, is consistency and determination. So rejoice in your efforts. And then think about something you'd like to work on. Be a speech. Make a plan. So I make this vow to myself before I go to bed that I'm not going to gossip about my next door neighbor to my other next door neighbor for 8 hours, because I'll be asleep. And you'll wake up in the morning and guess what? You kept that vow to yourself. Or if you're something a little bit more difficult than not doing something while you're sleeping, you can maybe just think about something during the day. Maybe you have some negative self-talk. So think about catching it when it arises and maybe reframe it for yourself. Don't tell yourself off, because then you're just laying negative self-talk over negative self-talk. Just recognize it and then reframe it. Something like this. Make a plan. Make it simple. Don't make it too grand. I'm never going to do this again. Doesn't sound very practical. So just imagine it's just your effort. Your aspiration helps us to change. And Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind, melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown. And think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. And next, a little bit on emptiness. In emptiness, there is no I, the creative negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma. And there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a little while. We can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this purification to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And then we can think, if those of you who have His Holiness the Dalai Lama, or you feel some sort of level of devotion towards His Holiness, just make a strong prayer in your heart for His Holiness to live a long, long time. We've been so fortunate, those of us who've been able to experience His Holiness's teachings for so many years, and they're so accessible. So we're very, very fortunate to have been born at a time where we could receive and meet a person like His Holiness. So just make a strong wish for him to have a long, happy and healthy life, and then a swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche. And then for those of you who have your own teachers, maybe it's Geshe Sherab from here in Santa Fe, or I'm not in Santa Fe, but where you guys are in Santa Fe, or your own Geshis from your own center, or any teacher, maybe your first grade teacher that taught you the alphabet. Lama Zopa Rinpoche said they're so important, our alphabet teachers. You should see them as our gurus. So do any of you even remember the name of your alphabet teacher? Yeah, I do too, Mrs. Channel. We loved Mrs. Channel. I don't even know where she is now. But anyway, so Rinpoche always said, remember your alphabet teacher, because that's the person that taught you how to read. Because of that person, you know how to read the Dharma. So anyway, good night, everybody. Lots of love. Take care. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And nice to see you, Maria Dechen. I haven't seen you here before. Thank you so much for coming. Lots of love. And I'll see you guys. Thank you. Take care. And by the way, you snackers, I can out-snack you anytime. So just be